What's going on, guys? Hunter here with Technical Gaming, and today we're going to be taking a look at a relatively new game streaming service called Shadowblade. Now, I assume that there's a pretty good majority of you guys who don't know what this is and have never heard about it before. It is a pretty new company. They just started in 2015, and it seems like they're just now starting to gain a little bit of popularity. But if you're still a little bit confused on what Shadowblade is, essentially it's a game streaming platform that's subscription based. If you've ever heard of something like GeForce Now, it's pretty similar to that. Except with Shadowblade, you're literally renting out a PC for $35 a month, and that PC is just being streamed to you whenever you want it. So when you get Shadowblade, you'll be paying $35 a month, and what you get for that is a GTX 1080 equivalent, an Intel Xeon CPU with 8 dedicated threads, 12 gigabytes of DDR4 memory, and 256 gigabytes of storage. And if you have no idea what any of that means, it essentially just means that you're getting a high-end computer that can run games very well. But the trick is, when it comes to game streaming services, is not the hardware that they can provide you, because of course that can be very expensive and high-end. The problem is the latency. And that's kind of the point of this video. It's to see if someone like myself, who's used to PC gaming, very low input latency, high refresh rates, and that sort of thing, can get used to something like a game streaming service. And it's just to kind of see if we're ready for this. But I am going to walk through all of it. So first off, I'll talk about the setup very quickly, then I'll talk about how it works, and then I'll talk about my actual experience of using the service, and then I'll just kind of give my final verdict. So that's how this video is going to go. Let's get into it. So let's go ahead and start this off with how you can get set up with this, because I know some people are still probably pretty confused. It is very simple though. So basically what you would do to actually sign up for this is you would go to their website and you would put in all of your information, you would put in your billing information, and then you would be able to get a subscription, which is $35 a month. So once you sign up for a subscription, then you can download their apps. You'll have access to all of their apps. And what their apps are for is for Windows, Mac, iOS, and Android. So this is actually not just for Windows and Mac. This is also for mobile devices. So you can have access to that really high-end computer hardware even on your iPhone, which is really cool. And that's not really something that I'm super interested in. I'm more just interested in seeing if I could get this working on like my laptop to have a really good high-end gaming experience on my laptop. But if you are interested in that for some reason, they do allow to have that as well. So once you've signed up and downloaded their app, or apps if you download it on multiple devices, you basically just sign into the app and you're pretty much ready to launch your full Windows experience right from whatever you're on, whether you're on a MacBook or your iPhone, and you just click start now. There's also like a control panel, and you can tweak settings and stuff if you want or need to, but for the most part you really shouldn't have to mess with too much. So you would just click start now, and it would open up your full gaming PC. Now the first time you set it up, you are going to have to go through an actual Windows setup, so you're going to have to push like English and your keyboard layout and everything like that, the normal Windows setup stuff. But after that one time, you won't have to do that anymore. So once you've gotten to that point, you're basically completely free to do whatever you want on your full out Windows gaming PC that's being streamed straight to you. So once you've gotten to that point, you're basically free to do whatever you want on Windows. You can download your games and start playing them. So that's really all I have to say about setting it up. I really just wanted to go through that because I know with this being such a new type of thing, people get confused. So I want to go through every little thing here. But now let's talk about how this is actually working. And it's very simple and very short. Essentially, all you need is a device that has a good internet connection that is going to be able to stream the video from their servers to your laptop to show you this full Windows experience. And that's exactly what is happening whenever you're using the Shadowblade service. They're just having the servers run the games and run whatever you're needing to run, and you're seeing it on your laptop via a stream. And that's really it as far as how it works. There's not much to it. But I do want to mention that this is not just for gaming solely. This is for pretty much whatever you want to do with your PC. You can edit and render out videos if you'd like to. I mean, you're really just renting out a PC, so you can do whatever you want with it. You're not really limited. But I will say that it definitely seems to be marketed more as a gaming service rather than anything else. But now it's time for the main part of this video, and that is to talk about my personal experience with Shadowblade. Now, before we get into this, I do want to preface it with a few things. The first thing is that I'm a PC gamer who's coming from a 1440p 144Hz monitor, who has somewhat premium equipment to game with, and I have a pretty good experience with my PC gaming. So I'm not coming from like a console that has a little bit more input lag, so I'm really not used to any input lag. And this is not me trying to be like I'm above consoles and shit like that. I'm literally just trying to be transparent here and say that I'm used to a much more responsive and twitchy kind of experience when it comes to gaming. So I'm not really used to having any kind of input lag at all. So I just wanted to be completely transparent with that part. And really the only reason I say that is because if I notice any kind of input lag at all, it's very noticeable to me. So maybe to other people who are not quite as used to the very twitchy type of experience, maybe it won't be quite as bad for you. Another thing is that I only spent about an hour with this service. I didn't spend really any more time than that. The only thing I did was I downloaded Fortnite and I played a few matches, and that's it. And honestly, that's really all I needed to get what I wanted to know out of this service. So, how was my experience with this service? To be completely honest, I didn't have a great experience. And it wasn't because of bad performance or anything went wrong. Everything went exactly how it should have went. I was getting fine FPS, everything was working right. The problem was the latency. It was absolutely noticeable, especially in a more twitchy game like Fortnite, where you're really trying to get those shotgun shots off and stuff like that. It just wasn't a good experience, and I didn't have a bad internet connection or anything like that. My internet's actually pretty good, and to be completely honest, I just wouldn't recommend this service yet. I just don't think we're ready for it yet, and I think a little bit more of a lot of things has to develop before we are ready, and I think we still have a few more years to kind of progress in technology to get to a point where we are going to be ready for this kind of streaming to become a regular thing. Now, I don't actually have any gameplay from where I was playing Fortnite with this service, but I can give you a brief description from what I remember. And so basically what was going on was when I first got into the game, I was moving around and everything, and you could already notice there was some latency, but moving around, it was rough, but it wasn't the worst thing. The worst thing was whenever you would try to shoot, and you wouldn't actually hear the gun shoot until about a few milliseconds after you click the button, which was just very frustrating. And it was also very inconsistent latency. Like, at some points it would seem halfway okay, and then at other points it would just get really bad. So again, I don't think we're ready for this service. However, I do have somewhat of a silver lining for this video, and the reason I kind of went into more depth about the service and everything, it's because I do have faith in these services, and I do think that game streaming is going to become the future at some point within the next 5-10 years. I think it is going to become a regular thing, and I'm actually not scared about it. I think it's going to be a good thing, but we do have to get to that point first. And I think if this service continues to kind of develop as it has been over these past few years, I think this is going to be one of the top services, and it's going to be one of the best because they're not just offering a game service, they're offering literally a rental of a PC just streamed over to you, which is really cool. And after a few years, I'm definitely going to revisit this service and see if it's any good at that point, because I think we're definitely going to be a big step ahead of what we're at right now as far as the streaming technology goes. And I really wish that I could recommend you go check out this service right now and do like a free trial or a free demo or something, but unfortunately they don't offer anything like that. I did actually contact the company about doing something like that, like it would be extremely helpful for a service like this, but they said it's just very difficult with them being not really a huge company or anything, and they're literally renting out like these PCs and stuff, so it's pretty hard to just do like a demo type of thing. So I completely understand where they're coming from, and he said the best way to do it would be to just try it out and get a refund if it's not working correctly, and that's what I'm doing. So yeah, that's really all I have for this video, guys. I wanted to give you kind of a general overview of what this service is, and then I wanted to talk about my personal experience with it. And I hope you guys enjoyed, and let me know if you guys have actually tried this, or if you've tried something like GeForce Now or anything like that, any kind of game streaming service. Let me know down in the comments section, and I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I know it was something a little bit different, but I think it was a pretty cool one. Let me know what you thought. I'll see you in the next one, guys. Peace out.